So, could you begin by saying maybe your name? Where are you from?
Yeah. So I'm Josie. I'm from the UK. I live in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex.
What drew you back to Inner Flight for the second time?
I think being in this energy I find really healing, and I think with all of us, life gets in the way sometimes, and you can feel sometimes you have problems laying on top of you, and it can weigh you down. And I think for me, this feels like a really lovely reset point. It's nice to kind of just get that reset button pushed and to kind of come back to yourself. And I think being in nature and being in this space and being with Sandra and Robbie, I always feel so like supported and loved here. And yeah, that's kind of the main reason why it drew me back here.
How did your first experience impact your life after you left?
In so many ways. I mean, going to the Shipibo retreat in March last year, I left feeling like I shed so many fear barriers and fear layers. I saw life around me change quite a lot. I saw the people around me change. There were so many different types of conversations I was being involved in, so many different new pathways being, set out in front of me. And it was amazing to feel that, me coming here and kind of increasing my own vibration and my own frequency has also made that ripple effect, like out to those around me and around people that I love. And I can't wait to see what change and transformation is going to, happen when I get back home and I start seeing and speaking to those around me, because I know that me doing my own work affects others as well.
What was different about your intentions or mindset coming to the second retreat compared to the first?
I think first time round, I actually have never kind of had like a psychedelic like experience before. So I was kind of stepping into the unknown completely. So I didn't really know what to expect. Whereas I think coming back, I kind of knew, how the ceremonies were going to be. I knew what types of feelings I would potentially feel. And I think I actually came in not feeling as afraid as I did last time around. And that actually made this experience feel a lot more gentle and a lot more, I was able to enjoy it a lot more. Whereas I think first time round, it was a lot of apprehension, a lot of like, oh, I don't know, like, how am I meant to feel? How is this meant to be? I'm meant to see all these things. But this time I was able to just flow with it and really enjoy like being in the moment, enjoy being in the ceremony, and really kind of listen and understand to what I was being shown and told.
Very beautiful. What would be the difference? How did you experience the Shipibo retreat and the private retreat?
So I would say it was great to do the Shipibo retreat first, because I feel like that's where I did a lot of really kind of deep, intense healing. I think the energy is quite different with the retreat. Obviously, you've got a lot more people around you. You have, Francisco and Tessie have quite intense energy, and I think it was perfect to start there for me anyway, because I had so many fear barriers I wanted to break through. It was great to be like, okay, let me shed what I need to here. And then coming into the space that Sandra and Robbie have created, this felt really kind of comforting. It felt really gentle. I actually felt a lot more at peace here than I did at the main retreat, because, it was like the retreat itself was for me to really heal. This was for me to kind of enjoy and like connect back to myself. So it was nice. It's nice to have those two different experiences, and they've both really added so much to my journey with ayahuasca. And, I definitely want to continue on this and keep pushing that reset button every now and then.
How did your experience with ayahuasca compared from the first one to the second one? Did you notice different insights?
Yeah, so I think the first time around it was a lot more based around, what I've been carrying that wasn't necessarily mine, and I was able to kind of work through that and clear a lot of that. Whereas I think the insights that I got this time around was, I connected a lot more with, my sister and my like future nephew, and it was nice to, have a little bit more, rather than just being like solely on what's happening inside me, to like opening myself out a little bit more and connecting with other energies that, are around me in my life. I think in the first retreat I worked through a lot of fear, whereas this retreat I was working through like some shame barriers potentially. So it does feel like each time you come, it's like there's a different understanding and a different I guess narrative that you have in your brain that you're working through, and it comes at the right time. And I think there've been so many things that have happened in my life recently around like, wanting to show up online more, that I feel like I have had lots of shame around. So this feels like it's come at the right time to be like, okay, no, I'm ready to work through this now, and I'm ready to kind of let those like barriers go so I can step into this next phase of my life.
Josie, I'm very happy to hear this. What role has Kambo played in your healing process? Have you noticed cumulative effects from working multiple times with the medicine?
Yeah, so I think Kambo for me is one of the most, I guess, like powerful things that, I've done. As much as I love sitting with ayahuasca, I really do also love sitting with Kambo. So now this would have been the fifth time that we've done Kambo. And, to start with, you have the fear and you're kind of not sure, but afterwards, like the feeling that you get has been amazing. And I've actually now started to kind of work my way up my chakras as well, and start to kind of work through those different energy centers. And I've really seen, like, as I've started to work through those, I've seen shifts in my life. Like I've been able to kind of step out, not be so afraid, and like really claim like what it is I want in life. And I do attribute that to like the combination of like the Kambo, the ayahuasca. But yeah, for me, I really love Kambo, and it's something that I really resonate with. And yeah, it's something that I would love to, continue to have as a reset button at home that I can connect into. Every couple of weeks, months.
Well, you don't hear many people saying that they love Kambo.
I know.
So I'm happy that I have proof. If you think back to who you were before your first retreat, how do you feel you've changed?
Wow. Yeah, that's a really great question, because I think, I do kind of feel like I am like so different. I've evolved so much. I think, I have better relationships with myself. I have better relationships with those around me. I've seen my career grow, which was like, something I didn't really expect. Like I've had promotions like after kind of going through this, and life has felt easier. Like as much as there've been challenges, it has like flowed a lot more. And I think I do attribute that to, going on this journey. Like there's only so much therapy that you can do that can like help you with, working out what some of those problem like areas are. But once you actually start doing that real kind of deep shadow work, and you start understanding what some of those patterns actually are, and you can then recognize them, and when they come up, you say, okay, no, like that's a pattern, like that's not actually, how I actually am, or that's not something I should let stop me. I feel like life just becomes a lot easier.
What inner work have you done between your two retreats, and how has it influenced this second experience?
So I think in between, I've definitely connected a lot more with local communities around me, those kind of like-minded people. And I think even just sharing my own experience I feel like that has helped me with, I've been on work conferences where I've literally spoken about my ayahuasca experience and my Kambo experience, and people haven't shut me down. Like they're actually happy to listen, and you do get some people that are then like interested. So I feel like me even just sharing my own story has really helped with that journey. I mean, I've done tons of sound healing, Reiki, like trying to kind of connect into that like inner peace, which I know from my first ayahuasca experience, that's something, one of the lessons I was taught was how I can try and connect more into that inner peace when the world does feel chaotic. And that's something that I've tried to continue forward with as much as I can. But yeah, I think for me, it's growing my own community as well. Like I've found a lot more like-minded people, and I have like seen, you know, my own friends like start to evolve as well. And I think that's something that's really like, you know, magical to show that the power of being in these spaces and these retreats, it only helps, you know, you and the people around you.
Were any unexpected lessons or a realization this time?
I think the most like unexpected one was like connecting in with the energy of my future nephew. So I've got a nephew who's due in 2 weeks' time, and I had a really profound experience where on the second ceremony, I actually connected with his energy. I felt him, I saw him. He was this amazing kind of blue, glowing like figure. He told me his name. He told me what he was here to do. And it was so lovely. Like I felt like I was almost like holding his hand, and it was like nice to be like, you know, you're safe. Like I've got you. It's going to be like great. And yeah, I think for me, that was one of the most like powerful moments from this retreat. And I think, you know, in the ceremony, I was actually sat in between two sisters as well. So I think I really tuned into that energy of my own sister, which, yeah, it was so powerful. And I think I haven't really connected that much with like, you know, the thought of, you know, new nephew. And I think that's made it really feel really real that, you know, he's on his way, and I'm really excited to meet him.
What keeps bringing you back to this space? What makes Inner Flight special for you?
So I think for me, I love being around Sandra and Robbie's energy. Like I feel safe, I feel protected, I feel loved. They're such genuine people. And I think me and Sam, you know, we've spoken about trying to find somewhere in the UK to sit with ayahuasca, but we just couldn't go anywhere else. Like we feel like this feels like the home of ayahuasca for us. Like we feel that, you know, Sandra and Robbie create such an amazing space, whether that be with the Shipibo retreats or here at their home. And I think it will always keep coming back here, and nothing compares to, you know, being in the middle of the ceremony and hearing the sounds of the jungle. Like you can't get that in the UK. So I think coming here and seeing like all of the wildlife, hearing all of the wildlife, it actually adds to the experience, and those sounds are so healing. So yeah, you'll only catch us back here.
How does the retreat setting and community support your transformation after? How do you feel the community had any impact?
Yeah, for sure. So we actually still talk, you know, to those in our retreat from March last year. You know, we have the WhatsApp group as well, and I find it's great to hear the insights that people are sharing. It's great to still like connect in with that energy. I especially found that I really connected with the other women in our Shipibo retreat, and you know, we send memes to each other on Instagram. We chat. You know, we've chatted on Zoom. Like we've actually met up in the UK, and we've kind of been in person with each other, including some of the guys too. And I think it's nice that we've found this kind of additional family that we're able to kind of go on this journey with, and know that there are other like-minded people that are going through the same struggles, that are feeling the same way, and you can talk about these. And you know, it was great. Before we came here, I had so many like well wishes from the others on our retreat, like, oh, like amazing, like me posting on Instagram. I had so many messages like, I didn't realize you guys are going back. And yeah, it's nice to feel that you're supported from the community, and you know, that's kudos to Sandra and Robbie for creating that.
What's your approach to integrating the wisdom that you receive from the medicine?
Yeah, so I feel like integration, it always comes in in like different messages in different ways. I think for me, one of the big learnings from last time was around my fear barriers, and I had a really big problem with like, you know, senior figures, and especially in like the workplace, and how I wouldn't, I guess, like speak up with how I actually felt. I've completely broken that barrier. You know, I've given feedback to, you know, execs that are, you know, 4 or 5 levels above me, and I've been able to, you know, step into this in a completely different approach. And I think that is kudos to the lessons that I've learned, and the opportunities, like these opportunities arrive to say, are you ready to like try and, you know, step through this? And I think sometimes unless you acknowledge and be like, yeah, that's a lesson, and can I work through this lesson? And when you do, you feel amazing afterwards, because, you know, I remember I started feeling quite fearful of, you know, speaking my mind to these people, but as soon as I did it, wow, like the power afterwards, I was like, I really did that. Like the growth, it feels incredible. So yeah, I think integration is a big part, but it always comes in like funny ways, like the lessons you would never expect how they appear, and it's just, yeah, noticing and acknowledging how you work through them.
If someone has doubt, or so let's say they looked on what there is online, and they still have doubts, do you have any advice that you would give them?
I think the best advice I would have for anyone who is unsure about coming to Inner Flight Retreat is honestly, like, just have a chat with Sandra and Robbie. I think as soon as you talk to them and, you know, start to understand the way that they hold the ceremonies and, you know, their ethos, I think your nerves will be kind of, you know, relaxed completely. And I think we've got a huge community of people who, you know, will sing from the rooftops about how amazing this place is. So again, like, you know, ask other people in the community. You know, if you see people on these videos that, you know, you think, actually, I'd love to like understand a bit more, like, you know, potentially reach out to them as well and see if they can share anything more with you.
Any last words? Anything that you would like to say to?
I think I would just love to say like a big thank you to Sandra and Robbie for having us here. Like, it's been amazing. We've did a private retreat, so they've been feeding us, we've been staying here, and, you know, it's been really incredible to feel and see how they live and be surrounded by their amazing cats. Like, me and Sam obviously absolutely love the cats, and if you're a big cat person, this should be the only retreat that you come to. But yeah, just a huge thank you, and it won't be the last time that you guys see us. We'll definitely be back.